Okay, so we are now on the second intro to defense. I finished up the first one, the first task, which is basically here is the introduction, and then here they're asking which team focuses on defense security, and that of course is the blue team. So correct answer. So we go into the next one, and it talks about SOC. It talks about the Security Operations Center. Then they go into threat intelligence, and also what is DFIR, that is digital forensics and incident responses. We go further into different malware analyses. So here they ask you which team of professionals monitors a network and its systems for malicious events. And we have here Security Operations Center, aka SOC. So after that, what does DFIR stand for? That is Digital Forensics Incident Response. So, which kind of malware requires for the use to pay money, gain access to their files, and that is ransomware. So we completed that section. Perfect. We go into the next one, and here's where we actually get a practical example of defense security. So now we'll go into this, and I saved this one because the other ones I could have answered, I answered by myself, and now we can go into this one. So what would be a typical task that you'll be having to do as a security analyst? We'll click on the view site, and this is what pops up on the right here. And so a day in the life of junior associate security analyst. Inspect the alerts in your SIM. This dashboard, find a malicious IP address from the alerts, make a note of it, and then click on the alert to proceed. Perfect, okay. So let's have this read it to me.
You are part of a Security Operations Center, SOC, responsible for protecting a bank. This bank's SOC uses a Security Information and Event Management (SIEM) system. A SIEM gathers security-related information and events from various sources and presents them via one system. For instance, you would be notified if there is a failed login attempt or a login attempt from an unexpected geographic location. Moreover, with the advent of machine learning, a SIEM might detect unusual behavior, such as a user logging in at 3 a.m. when he usually logs in only during work hours. In this exercise, we will interact with a SIEM to monitor the different events on our network and systems in real time. Some of the events are typical and harmless. Others might require further intervention from us. Find the event flagged in red, take note of it, and click on it for further inspection. Next, we want to learn more about the suspicious activity or event. The suspicious event might have been triggered by an event, such as a local user, a local computer, or a remote IP address. To send and receive postal mail, you need a physical address. Similarly, you need an IP address to send and receive data over the internet. An IP address is a logical address that allows you to communicate over the internet. We inspect the cause of the trigger to confirm whether the event is indeed malicious. If it is malicious, we need to take due action, such as reporting to someone else in the SOC and blocking the IP address.
Okay, so we're going to take notes here. And here we have green, this is okay. Unauthorized connection detect from IP address. So we'll note this IP address here. Green, green, and green. John Doe, login failure. So here's what we flagged here. And note the IP address. So, I should have taken note. Go back. No. Okay. So we're going to take note of the IP address, and the IP address is 43.110.250.149. Okay, and it was going to port 3.250.1.49, perfect, and it was going to port 22. Okay, so we got that. Let's then click on this. We're going to check the IP address. Was found in the database. Confidence IP is being malicious 100%. It's from the ISP, Internet Service Provider of China Mobile Communications Corporation. Domain, China Mobile, Ltd. Country, China. Xinxiang, Jiangsu. Okay, great. So there are many open source databases out there, like Abuse IPDB and Cisco Talos Intelligence, where you can perform a reputation and location check for IP addresses. Most security analysts use these tools to aid them with alert investigations. You can also make the internet safer by reporting the malicious IPs, for example, Abuse IPDB. Now that we know the IP address is malicious, we need to escalate it to a staff member. Okay, great. So let me note down that. I like the notes for that because that is pretty good. So in my notes, I'm actually going to be putting down the open source databases. Such as Abuse IPDB. Let's see here, and then there's also Cisco Talos Intelligence. Alright, keep those in my notes. So we're gonna go next. And now we shouldn't worry too much if it was a failed authentication attempt, but you probably noticed that this successful authentication attempt from the malicious IP address. Let's declare a small incident event and escalate it. There's some great staff working at the company, but you wouldn't want to escalate it to the wrong person who is not in charge of your team or department. Choose whom you escalate this event to. There's Dominic from Sales Executive. There's Nadia Watson from Security Consultant. There's Carolyn Stone from Information Security Architect. And then there's Will Griffin, our SOC team lead. So I would choose Will Griffin. You got the permission to block the IP address, and now you can proceed to implement the block rule. Block the malicious IP address on the firewall and find out what message they left for you. Put back the IP address that we saved, because now we got permission to fully block it. You blocked the malicious IP address. Threat blocked. Perfect. Okay, so this is going to ask for this flag here. We're going to type in THM brackets threat dash blocked brackets again. Let's go. Ooh. Nice job. Oh, that was very interesting. So what I learned from this actually was very interesting. It was very nice to learn that there are different open source databases out there, like we have here Abuse IPDB, Cisco Talos Intelligence, and then they were able to also use those to navigate and find out what the IP is, if the IP is malicious or not, and where it's coming from, using our SIEM. So this is very interesting and very fun. Then we got our flag. We got our flag that is THM, threat blocked. We're all set. Nice job. Very good.